All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's PAN class known as Proactive Nutrition. My name is Kelsey Baez, and today, a little bit about myself is that I am the Cats nutritionist underneath Lindsay Mengi, who's a registered dietitian and faculty on staff here at Texas State. Some of the things I do aside from this cooking class is that I also do one-on-one nutrition consultations to help people reach their nutrition goals. Additionally, I also do talks with the WellCat seminar series that we do. I've done several of those throughout the past semester. And I kind of just do a little bit of everything nutrition related. So any questions, I'm here. I love to nerd out and talk about nutrition. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to jump in today. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at the recipe together. But today we are making a tangy teriyaki chicken summer salad. It's got a lot of these staples of things that we have that are naturally in season right now. And if I'm being honest, it kind of mimics a really delicious salad that I enjoy from Panera. So I'm trying to figure out how can I make this at home because Panera is expensive. So today the recipe, the way that's going to divide out is that it'll be six servings, or six, and you can portion that however your hunger is. But per serving, it's 330 calories. Your protein's pretty high. We're getting 23 here. That's from the chicken and the cashews primarily. Our fat is 14 grams and our carbohydrates are a little low at 28. So if you ended up wanting to add in like maybe some rice or some farro into this, it would help increase that carb and help with a really long lasting fullness for like dinner. I'd say that this is pretty good for right around lunch. Also dinner rolls and bread is good as well. So we are looking, can you see my screen? You can, okay, I see a head nod, perfect. All right, so there's two parts to this recipe. First is the marinade where we've been marinating the chicken. I've had mine marinating since about 9 this morning. I didn't do an overnight. However, overnight really is great whenever you're doing marinades. But the marinade for this is half a cup of low sodium soy sauce, mirin, which I will show you whenever my screen isn't taken over by this, but it's a sweet cooking rice wine. It's not like a wine that you would drink. It's just essentially a fermented wine with it has like vinegar and sugar in it to help ferment the rice. We've also the marinade has brown sugar, garlic, ginger, and I actually have just a little over a pound of the skinless, boneless chicken breast. Mine's about like 1.3 pounds, but I mean, close enough. And then our salad, the salad that we're going to be putting that chicken and that marinade with is I have romaine lettuce today, but really whatever your preference is. We're going to be throwing in some kiwis. We're going to have pineapple, mandarin oranges, sweet red peppers. I couldn't find sweet red peppers, so we're going to be doing the mini peppers. Those generally a little bit more sweet, so I'm just going to chop up several of the mini peppers. Raspberries, strawberries, onions for a little bit of that bitter taste to be able to complement that glaze. Cashews, like I said, it's going to be a good crunch and it's also going to be protein source. And then we're going to top all this off with a poppy seed salad dressing. So the first steps, which I'm going to just go ahead and show here on the screen, but it says to make the marinade, which I've already done, and I'm going to show you now, and then you butterfly your chicken. All right, you can see me. So this is my marinade. I just have it in a Ziploc bag. I actually made the marinade in the bag, shook the bag, then I butterflied my chicken, and then beat it with a meat pounder so that it was thin and so that it was more relaxed, so that it would be able to absorb more of the marinade. And then I put it inside of the Ziploc bag that I had created the marinade with, and then let me show you. I laid down all the juice at the end, and then I put it with my chicken in there, and I rolled it like this, leaving the juice on the bottom. and I pushed air out so that I could have, basically less air means more is getting suctioned onto my chicken. And then I just kind of moved it around so that most of the juice was on top of my chicken. So that's how I had it sitting, marinating. These are the little mini peppers that we were talking about. The mandarin oranges, I said that we were going to use a can. I actually couldn't find a can of mandarin oranges on curbside. So we're doing these today, and I'm just going to do 2 of them. If you have cuties or other mandarins, you can do those as well. I just like that the membrane's taken off of these because they kind of like fall apart. And then this is going to be the poppy seed dressing that I am using today, a fat-free one. And we'll go ahead and we're gonna make our chicken first. Normally I start out with chopping, but because we want our chicken to cook and then we want it to set and rest so that it's not super hot and that it absorbs some of those juices whenever we put it into our salad, we want to cook it first so that it can then rest. I'm sorry, I just stopped with words. So I'm going to go ahead and move you like I normally do, but I'm setting up differently if you've cooked with me before. As you can see over here, I have my phone set up so that you can look into the pot and see what I am doing and what I'm trying to reference. So hopefully this is going to be a little bit more helpful for you. Now I have on this pot, it actually has 3 different burners, 1, 2, 3. I've turned on all 3 burners because this is a massive skillet. Not because I'm cooking a lot of chicken, but more actually because of the fact that I need the space because I butterflied the chicken. One of the other things that I really like about this recipe, or one of the things I really like about this recipe and specifically the chicken, is that you can marinate it ahead of time. And then this could be a quick, easy meal prep for you. So you could make this chicken and then like throw it on the grill whenever maybe you're already grilling something else on the weekend. And then it's going to save beautifully because of that marinade. It's going to taste really good and you don't have to worry about reheating the chicken and it being dry. So this is a great thing that you can make ahead and then it'll transfer well if you're going to take it to work or something. I am feeling it. It looks like I'm touching the pan on the overhead screen, but I promise I'm not. I'm just feeling to see if there's some heat coming off of it. And I'm also going to check it by throwing some water into my pan to make sure that it bounces. My daughter, sorry, that is a dried mango. But anyway, I'm going to throw some water into this pan so that it warms it up. Out of curiosity, do you all cook with chicken a lot?
Yes.
Yes. Do you like to do marinades?
I have done some, yes.
Yeah. I have to be honest that I don't marinate very often, but I love it when I do. Because
yeah, it's preparing. That's the thing. You have to plan and sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I see that I don't do much marinade too often either. Yeah, I understand that. And you know what's a great thing about this is that it's going to be delicious if we marinate it. But if you can't, this sauce, because of that brown sugar in it, is going to get rather thick. So it's going to lay on top of your chicken really well. So if you don't marinate it, you're still going to get a good flavor. I would just make sure that you do still butterfly the chicken because it's going to cut it and you're going to have thinner pieces instead of like a thick chicken breast that we're more used to. I threw water on this pan and it evaporated rather quickly. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start cooking this chicken. I anticipate, again, because we butterflied it and cut it in half, or cut it thinner than usual, that it's going to cook rather quickly. I think I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of olive oil to this just so that it doesn't all stick. I'm going to rotate it. This is another indication that my pan is warm. If you see the way that oil is moving, instead of it being thick, it's just like quick and moving around. That tells me my pan's hot as well. So I'm reaching into the bag with my, I want to call them pliers. What are these called? My pinchers is what we're going to call them. I'm just going to throw it on here. Perfect. All right. So we've got the chicken cooking, and you have two options here. You can throw in the rest of the marinade, or you can leave it how it is. I'm probably going to throw the marinade in so that it just cooks a little bit more, so that the marinade itself cooks more. It's not going to cook the chicken any faster. But I'm not going to move the sauce into the salad. You could if you wanted to, but that's going to add a lot of extra sodium that I did not calculate into the recipe. So that you just have to make that decision for yourself. Because if you were to add all of this marinade into your salad, per serving, you would be looking at probably like 1,500 milligrams of sodium, as opposed to what I put on there is more of what's just sticking onto it, which is roughly about a quarter of it, what's actually being marinated and sold in there. So I have this on a relatively high heat, and I'm going to not touch it actually, because I want it to be able to sear and be able to cook. Now, because I added that marinade in there, it might take a little bit longer to sear, but you can see that this is starting to bubble here. And a lot of that's my sugar. Can you guys see that very well? Yes, okay. So you can see here that this is bubbling. It's gonna start bubbling over here too. It's just taking a minute. But anyway, that's my sugar starting to thicken up and also get air out of the liquid, or oxygen out of it, so it's going to thicken it up. But I can already see over here that my chicken is starting to whiten up, but it's going to take a little bit longer than I actually anticipated because I added that marinade in there. So I would say if you're crunched on time, then don't add the marinade in, because I had put the entire bag in. So now what's happening, because I put that in there, it is cooking the sauce and it's cooking the meat, and my meat is cooking at a slower rate. If I didn't have all this extra liquid in here, then the chicken's going to cook and it's going to sear faster. I think it'll be fine. We just might have to adapt and we start doing some of the chopping if this doesn't cook up a little bit faster. We can adapt and we can overcome. Now it does look like, let me show it this way so that you can see on the camera. It is already starting to whiten up. I am seeing a little bit of brown marks on there. But obviously this side isn't done. So I'm probably going to give it like another minute or two, and then I'm going to flip it and I'll cook the other side. And then I'm going to cook that maybe for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to do the temperature. I'm going to take temperature on it. We always want our chicken to reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit whenever we are cooking our chicken. That's going to help prevent foodborne illnesses like salmonella and overall an illness that we would have, because we want the meat and the different parts of it just to cook a little bit faster and cook off bacteria. So this is actually getting pretty firm. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to flip this one over too, because it's looking good. And you can see how that's starting to brown on there too. So that's giving me some confidence. So we're going to let that cook up. And I think that we should go ahead and go start chopping some things. What do y'all feel like? Yes, I'm seeing head nods.
Sounds good.
All right. It's kind of like doing a watch pot. This is actually kind of cool because now I can watch my chicken and talk to you guys at the same time. All right, so let me move this over here and let me get my salad. Now today for the salad, because I like promoting convenience, I use a pre-bagged salad. We chopped salad before together, but I just use this romaine pre-chopped base. And this is a 9-ounce bag, and it gave me 5 cups. The recipe calls for 6 cups, which I would say if you chopped up your own romaine, you would be able to get 6, no problem. But this technically is a cup short. So there's that. We'll go ahead and we'll start with the peppers. Why not? So it called for about 3 medium peppers, or 1 medium sweet red pepper and 1 medium green peppers. So this is my green pepper. And then I'm thinking 3, maybe 4 red peppers. I'm going to see what it looks like in the salad and just play it by ear. But something I like to show people with peppers that I learned from my mother-in-law is that I used to cut bell peppers with the stem up, and I looked and I just cut down the middle and then I chopped it up. But actually the cleanest way, I would say, and most efficient way is that you start with the stem on the, actually this isn't flat, so I'm going to just cut that down a little bit, is that I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to cut in and I'm looking down into my bell pepper and I can see where the little seed pod is. So I'm angling my knife just a little bit to go around that. It's actually a rather small pod. And then I'm just going to do the same thing all the way around. Now, there we go. Okay, so this one, I'm just reaching in, I'm cutting a little bit of that membrane. And now you can see that I didn't pop any seeds all over the place. It's less of a mess. And I'm now gonna go and I'm gonna clear out the membranes. You can pull these out with your hands. I actually just find that it's faster and easier to use a knife. So that is what I do. Do you all cook with peppers a lot?
Yes, I love all the different peppers.
So no preference for you on which one, just as long as it's a pepper, huh?
No, actually, I prefer the orange peppers.
Those are my favorite too.
I love those.
Oh,
Then probably the green, then maybe, no, maybe the red, then the green.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what you're eating though, so.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I grew up not eating a lot of vegetables, and now I feel like I'm making up for lost time. One of my most favorite things is bell peppers, and I agree with you. Orange is delicious. They're sweet and they're less bitter in my mind. So I'm just chopping these up. I want them to be a nice, I want them to be nice and a little bit thick because I want them to be crunchy, or I want to be able to taste that crunch anyhow. You could also use celery, and that would give you a little bit of that flavor or that texture. And something else to note is that I used to do whenever I diced, I did the this side up, but if you flip it the other way, your bell pepper is actually more stabilized. And whenever you go through and you cut, it is not going to snap as easily. Whenever you cut this way, you have to like push down and then you snap, and then like a lot of times you'll end up like cracking it right here. This makes really even like fajita veggies is what I usually just call them, but strips in general.
Pan's looking kind of differently brown over there. It looks good.
All right, thank you for the heads up. Let's go check on it. All right, yeah, that marinade did cook a lot. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna pull these out. Let me get a plate to let the rest on. Okay, here we go. I turned off the heat. We're gonna move this over. They did get a little brown. A lot of that is the marinade, so I'm probably just gonna scrape that off, but I'm gonna let it set for a little bit before I do any scraping. But as you can see, that cooked really quickly, I would say in under 10 minutes. I mean, what time is it? 20? Yeah, about 20 minutes at most. Thank you, Patty, for that. All right.
Hey, sometimes a little charredness is good, you know.
I agree.
Good
it
taste
can't.
to it. Yeah.
I have to be honest. It smells really sweet, so I'm probably going to try it and just see what my preferences are. So the red peppers, I'm just slicing longwise, and then I'm stopping right before I reach the pits there. And red peppers are a great addition in here nutrition-wise because they are rich in a lot of different phytochemicals, which basically help our body be awesome. But then it's also got things like beta carotene and vitamin C, which help with eye health and our immune system. I'm going to go ahead and do, I think, just one more pepper and call that done. I think that looks good. My hands are clean. I'm just going to toss this and see what it looks like. You can see, perfect. All right, that is looking delicious. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and add in there's no real wrong way to do this. I'm just basically making eye contact with something and adding it in. So I'm going to drain these. Drain the juice out of them because I don't want a soupy salad anyhow. And then I'm just going to dump that right in there. These are good too for adding into like lettuce wraps or just having just as a snack by themselves. My daughter will often have these with a cheese stick to balance it out. So she gets a little protein, a little fat, and a carbohydrate. It's a perfect little balanced snack. We'll do the kiwi next. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect.
I tell you, I'm not a fan of raspberries, but with in a salad, I think I like them, but by themselves, they're just not my favorite.
I like to muddle them. So I will basically mash them up and use it as a seasoning frequently.
Yeah.
And that's what I use. Now my kiwi, you'll see here, I am cutting a little bit differently. Most people will just use a spoon to pull it out. And then, or apparently there's this hack where you can use a kitchen whisk, and you shove it right in here and twist it and it perfectly dices it up. Mm-hmm. But my kiwi is rather firm, so that's why I am going this route. So if you have firm kiwi, probably want to use a knife. If you have more squeezable, I would say, kiwi, then try that whisk hack. That seems pretty cool. All right, I'm just going to dice it. The recipe calls for 3 of these. And you'll notice, but I'm doing all of my chopping here first. And then lastly, what I'll do is bring over my chicken. And we've already talked about the fact that we want the chicken to marinate, right? But the other reason why I'm going to do it last is because I don't want to use 2 cutting boards mm-hmm. and I don't want to cross-contaminate. So I don't want to put meat on here and then possibly cut it first, choose that I don't want a certain amount of strawberries, and then put my strawberries in there. And now I have got meat on my strawberries. It's just a way to, by cutting your meat last, it's a way to prevent contamination. So there we go. Kiwis, I looked up some information about kiwis on my, that we could talk about here, because I didn't know much about them prior to what I looked up. But they actually have something in them called actinidin, which helps with breaking down your protein in your food, which is, nice. It helps you with digestion, essentially. They're also rich in vitamin C, which helps with immune health, as commonly known. And something a little less common is that vitamin C helps with iron absorption, specifically non-animal product iron. So like beans and stuff, vitamin C helps with that. Another cool thing about kiwi that I did not know is that there are properties to it that have been linked to reducing oxidative stress. And that is interesting because oxidative stress can honestly wreak a little havoc on our body. It can mess with our blood formation, and it can also mess with our DNA is what I was reading about. And also like heart health. It helps with heart health to have lower oxidative stress. So pretty cool stuff there about the kiwi that I did not know. Kiwi is actually something that I recently started eating. I just never had it before. Have you all had kiwi before?
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah.
But they're just so small. It's like all that, and then you don't get much from it, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. They do pack a strong punch, though. I think they're very tart, in my opinion. Okay, I only did 2 kiwi, but I feel like that's actually quite a bit of kiwi. So I'm gonna stop there. And then it calls for a cup of pineapple. I'm using pre-cut pineapple. I have a whole pineapple if you feel gypped. You let me know. Would you rather a whole pineapple or go with this?
Oh no, I think you should go with that.
Okay. All right, perfect. I'm just going to cut these a little bit smaller so that they're bite-sized into my salad. This is just a bit more convenient than, so in general, a good rule of thumb for a cup is a handful, but I find that whenever it comes to berries and fruit, I have a hard time grabbing a handful. So I like to actually just measure it out. This is smelling so good. So I can smell the teriyaki chicken that we made, but then as I'm cutting up this salad, it's just teasing me because I'm getting to smell so much more of the citrus from the fruit. And it's just giving me a heads up of what I'm about to experience. And I'm excited. This is a really big chunk of pineapple. Wow.
So have you heard anything about going back to in-person cooking?
I have heard that we are going to be trying to go back to in-person cooking in the fall. However, there's not a lot of information out about it yet. But I think that we're all looking forward to it, right?
Yes, I would like to try that salad today, but you know, I'll just come to your house. How's that?
All right, I will send you an address. All right, next we're gonna do some strawberries. I'll show you a little trick that I like to do whenever I eat strawberries like by themselves, is instead of slicing it this way, I really like to get as much as possible. So I put in at an angle and I'm using my hand, not the knife, and I'm rotating my hand around that strawberry and then boop, done. And it's easy to slice. I'm just gonna do a couple of these. It calls for a cup, but honestly, I think that the way that this is stacking up, I think we're gonna have a lot of fruit, which I'm looking forward to. I think it's gonna be delicious. This salad in general is going to be so rich in like antioxidants and different things that are going to help with just overall. I like to talk a lot about heart health, but it definitely helps with heart health, and just it also has many components that help with like your blood formation. So like there's vitamin K in the romaine lettuce that helps with like clotting factors, and then you've got other components of it that help with like helping your blood be able to transport nutrients through it. So this really is a revitalizing salad, I would say. I'm also going to say that is a cup. So let's go ahead and throw that in there. That was quite a bit. And the raspberries are already washed. I just put them back in this container. So I'm just going to do, see, look, this is a handful there. It's only like half a cup. I can't do a cup of, that's good enough. We'll do that. Okay, perfect. Green onions. A little thing about green onions that you may not know is that if you cut and leave this a little bit thicker on the end, you can pot it in water and grow more green onion. So then it's like you buy one, but then you can grow your own for you to use in the future. Something that I'm doing, I'm just going to dump these right in there. I think I said to save it to last for a garnish on the end, but I want to use this cutting board and they just have to be off. Okay, and I'm doing 3 rather large green onions, in my opinion. I used to live overseas in Spain, and the green onions that get over there, it can be like the size of like turnips. They can be really big. It's pretty impressive, honestly. I don't know why theirs are bigger. Most of their produce is actually smaller, but their green onions were huge. Okay. All right, we've got strawberries, raspberries. We did the green onions, pineapple. I think all we're missing is the cashews, which I think I'm gonna sprinkle on the top. So let's go get that chicken. I'm gonna just dump off all this excess stuff I have on my tray. Okay. Grab the chicken. It is still warm, but it has rested. So this is gonna be, it's gonna be good. Let me make more room here. I switched all my angles, so now you can see a little bit more of the chaos behind the scenes. All right, let's see here. Now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna try and hold it. So what I'll do is I'm gonna just move that is what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna hold this in place. You could also use a fork. Often I do use a fork. And let me cut down here because I wanna see if I want to keep that chard here. I'll let you watch me. That whenever I take little bites while cooking, I call it a commission. So you can watch me take a commission. Oh, it's good.
See, I knew it would be.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. There is a little bit of that burnt flavor, but
yeah,
it's good. It's good. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to finish dicing this up here. And because we butterflied that chicken, it's really going to go a long way. As you saw, I mean, that was just a standard size chicken breast, but once I cut it, this is just a standard size chicken breast, but because I cut it in that butterfly fashion, it's really just going to cover more of the salad. I guess I would say it's going to be more present in there. All right. Have there been any questions?
It'd be good to marinate even more and then, you know, have that as another meal, you know.
Oh,
that
yeah.
chicken.
Oh, I agree.
Just by itself, yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea that I'm looking at this. I think a wrap would be delicious with this. So just put all this in like a whole grain wrap or something. I think that would be amazing.
Ashley referenced something in the chat.
Oh, let me see. Thank you for that. You're like a wonderful co-host today, Patty. I'm calling you my sous chef. All right, I've done a little bit of HelloFresh, and they actually incorporate a lot of Kiwis into their meals as toppings like tacos and rice bowls. It's so good. Great tip. Well, that's cool. I've used HelloFresh as well. I did a trial run last semester because I was curious. And they do send some rather interesting combinations, I would say. So like, to me, it's interesting to put kiwi on a taco, but HelloFresh has taught me that kiwi on a taco, you got to try it. It's good. They do, it pushes you a little bit out of your comfort zone, I would say. So
yeah, I think different combinations of things that you would never think to put together do taste really good.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to be bold enough to try it, you know?
Yeah.
Or come up with it. Sometimes I'm like, who thought to put cinnamon and oregano together and give you Greek salad or seasoning? All right, look at this. Let me move this so I don't get my bowl all sticky. And let's look at that salad. And this is a rather quick meal. We've got it all done in under 40 minutes. You can toss the chicken or save the chicken and put it on top of the whatever you serve yourself. But honestly, there's so much chicken that I saw being cut that I just threw it right into the bowl. We don't want to forget about our salad dressing. It calls for 1/3 cup. I've never used a salad dressing before. I just tried it. It is good.
It's good. I've had another salad that I've made with that poppy seed dressing.
I've had poppy seed before, and I really enjoy the dressing. I've just never had this specific brand, and I approve. I like it. All right. This looks so good, so inviting. All those different colors just make me want to eat it now, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to grab a bowl. I like to eat my salad in bowls. Do you all have a preference? Yes. Plate or bowl?
A bowl, for sure.
Bowl for you. What about you, Ashley?
She said bowl.
Bowl. I know, you got to be able to make sure that the salad dressing drips down. And so whenever. So I'm going to put my cashews on top of my salad. Now, a lot of the reason why I do that is because I don't want it to drop to the bottom of the salad. And because they are a little bit higher in fat, I also want to know, not necessarily how much I'm putting on there, but I just want to be able to have enough on there that I'm going to be happy with it and that it's not just getting lost. So I just did a little handful. It's probably like 1/4 cup there.
And they are salted, right?
These are salted, yes. Yeah. They're salted and they're roasted.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking also, if you're not a cashew fan, that pistachios could be really good with this too. Pistachios are a rather expensive nut though, but if you can do it, I suggest. All right, I went ambitious with that chicken. I would maybe cut it a little smaller than what I did. So you're gonna see me shove a bunch in my face. All right, I've got a little bit of everything. I've got raspberry, some red pepper, I got some lettuce and some cashew. So I'm gonna take a bite and let's talk about it. This is good. My peppers actually have a little bit of heat to them.
Oh,
they're not
interesting.
They're not as sweet as they usually are, but honestly, I like it. I wasn't expecting that though. I'm gonna take another bite and see if I can't talk a little bit more. So what's interesting about this is you're getting so much citrus from the fruit, and then you eat the chicken and it kind of like cancels out the sweetness almost. It just blends it all together. Yeah. It's interesting. It's like you have two different flavors in your mouth at the same time. You've got that teriyaki, which is really sweet and it's bold, but it's also salty. But then you get that bright burst of the citrus, like that bite that I just had. It had a little bit of raspberry and that and the mandarin orange in there, and it really just like complemented it, but it was its own independent flavor in my mouth. It was really good. I could see that adding a grain to this would be really good too. So if you had like leftover rice or barley or whatever, throwing a little bit in here, I think that it would just give you an extra texture in there, and it wouldn't take away any of the flavor, unless of course it was seasoned. But this is delicious. I definitely recommend trying it. And I would also say that it's super customizable. So maybe you don't want to buy 5 different fruits, then you pick 1 or 2 that you like and just go a little heavier on them, and that'll absolutely be more blended to whatever it is that your preference is.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Any questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you all for joining, and let me know if you try this, because let me tell you, you're not going to miss out. And also on Friday, I will be doing another cooking class, and I'm going to bring y'all something that you can take to 4th of July celebrations if you are going to one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you were doing a different recipe for that one, since you're doing two.
Yeah, I am. I know that in the past that it's been the same recipe for both, but I thought let's do something for 4th of July as well and still keep that summery.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna stop our recording now, and